glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
thing. It's like there's so many Morning, Counselor Palashi. Can we do your mic check, please?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Thank you. We can hear you.
Thanks.
Good morning, Counselor Tour. Can we do your mic test, please?
Good morning.
Thank you. We can hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing that it's 9:30, as we begin today's meeting, we'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. We are grateful to the original caretakers of this land who have ensured that we're able to work, play, and live in Brampton now and in the future. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem to be followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for
Okay, now we have some updates from the clerk on today's agenda.
Through you, Mayor Brown, the following items have been added through the revised agenda. 8.1, Government Relations Matters, the presentation was published. 10.1.1, Staff Report Purchasing Activity, Quarterly Report, an additional attachment was added. Minutes of the Committee of Council have been published as 12.3. 12.4, Minutes of Planning and Development Committee from February 23rd, published. 14.1, Correspondence from Mark Condello. Regarding item 12.4, inclusionary zoning and proposed amendments to official plan and zoning bylaw has been added. Bylaw number 18.1, the bylaw has been updated. 18.4, the bylaw has a revised Schedule A. 18.12, the bylaw has been added. Bylaw 18.13 and 18.14 have also been added.
Okay, thank you. I also have a request from Councillor Brar to add a Ramadan announcement. That would be the new 6.3. I have a council calendar item for discussion. That would be item 16.3. Is that correct? And the request to council, I'm asking to move up the motion relating to Unifor to after the proclamations, since we have our friends from Unifor here today. I don't want them to have to wait for the entirety of the agenda, because there's currently scheduled at the back of the agenda, and the issue that we're working on with them together is important. So if we can move that up to right after proclamations. Are there any other requests from council for the agenda? I don't see any in the room. Anything online? No? Okay. So we have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Santos to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to declarations of pecuniary interest. Does any member have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be considered on today's agenda? Seeing none, the clerk will so note for her records. This takes us to the adoption of City Council minutes before us today. We have minutes City Council February 4th, 2026, and minutes Special City Council January 19th, 20th, 27th, and February 6th. Do any members have any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, we have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Vasante, to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion. I'll start reading the relevant agenda items, and members can identify any item to be held for debate. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. 10.11, staff report, purchasing activity quarterly report. 10.61, staff report, request to begin procurement for public works repairs west side, wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 12.1, minutes, governance and council operations committee. Oh, do we have a online?
I held that, Mr. Mayor.
That's 10.61. Okay. 12.1, minutes, governance
yes.
and council operations committee. Minutes, audit committee. Minutes, committee of council, February 18th. Minutes, planning and development committee, February 23rd. 14.1, correspondence, Mark Candello, Glenn Schnarr and Associates, item 12.4, inclusionary zoning. 16.1, referred matters list. 19.1, closed session minutes. 19.2, closed session minutes, special council meetings, January 19th, 20th, 27th, and February 6th. 19.3, closed session minutes, committee of council, February 18th. 19.4, closed report, transit bus and shelter advertising. 19.5, closed report, supplementary information request to begin procurement 2026 public works repairs west side. 19.6, closed report 2026 budget update. Councillor Pelletier?
Just on the committee minutes last week, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to hold them, and just put them towards the end of the agenda, see if we can get rid of some of the things that had been referred from last week to this week. And then maybe we can move them at that time, but just hold them
For
until
19.3.
Just the committee of council minutes, for the committee, committee minutes from last week.
So that would be 12.3. Okay, so we'll hold 12.3. 19.6, closed report, budget update, follow-up. 19.7, OLT matter, northwest corner of Queen Street East and the Gore Road. Okay, I have a motion, moved by Councillor Power, seconded by Councillor Medeiros, to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to announcements, and we have a number of announcements today and proclamations, and members of council will join me in sharing those proclamations. If there's an organization present today for the proclamation, please come down to the front as we read out the proclamation, and then we'll take photos with those here at the end of all the proclamations. The first one is Black Education Week, February 21st, and Councillor Power has the pleasure to read out that proclamation.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Black Education Week. Education is a fundamental right and an essential tool for individual and collective empowerment, fostering progress and equality within our communities. Black Canadians have historically faced significant barriers to education, yet their resilience, dedication, and pursuit of knowledge have led to transformative achievements benefiting both the Canadian education system and society as a whole. Countless Black educators, students, activists, and leaders have made invaluable contributions to Canada's education landscape, shaping the history of this nation through their advocacy for equal access to education and their role in the fight for social justice. Black Education Week offers an opportunity to celebrate the legacy of Black excellence in education, recognize the ongoing challenges faced by Black students, and honor the educators who have been at the forefront of shaping educational equity in Canada. Caretakers of Our Culture is pleased to announce its 30 Under 30 Student Athlete and Coaches Award commemorating the 30th anniversary of Black History Month in Canada. Black Education Week also serves as a call to action for the residents of Brampton to reflect on the importance of inclusive, equitable, and accessible education, ensuring all students have the support and resources they need to thrive in their educational journey. The City of Brampton was proud to raise the 30th anniversary International Black History Month Sankofa flag at City Hall this year. The flag is an educational tool that covers a broad scope of contributions and experiences of people of African descent in our communities and around the world. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim February 21st to the 28th, 2026 as Black Education Week in the city of Brampton.
Thank you. I think DeWitt is here to respond. Are you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Councilor. Blessed Ramadan to all. Please, Sarah, in honor of Pink Shirt Day, we always commemorate Black Education Week with a Ruby Bridges representative for Pink Shirt Day. So Sarah, thank you very much for coming. She'll be off to school right after this. But nevertheless, you mentioned Councilor Power about the Sports 30 under 30, and we're very grateful to have the recipients here today to join us in our photo from Dog Sports, who brought some hardware down here to City Hall, representing Brampton. So just wanted to give him an opportunity to speak in my 2 minutes. And also our Black Education Week honors goes to a very special tutoring program here in the city of Brampton called Spark the Mind. So we're going to just hear from them for a few moments. But Coach, come on up here, please, and just share something briefly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. We just very much got back from Disney, where this tournament was taking place. We were grateful to win the CE World Championship out there. We had teams from all around the world that came out. I want to give a big shout out to my head coach, Coach Steve, who couldn't make it this morning. Coach Steve put his heart and soul into this girls' team. This is our 17 U's, what we're called down there. These are girls that are born from 07 and younger. So we have a young lady that was born in 07. But a special shout out to our MVP, who was born in 2011. So she's playing against girls that are about 4 or 5 years older than her, and she destroyed it down there. So Aria, Aria, welcome. She did a great job out there. So thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. This means a lot to us and for me. I've been running this program for 25 plus years, and to be honored like this is very, very, very respectful. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you, Coach. Come on up, please. Tell them about yourselves and the program, please.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Marie, and I am the president of the organization, the Adirie Project. And on behalf of the Adirie Project, I want to sincerely thank the caretakers of our culture in the city of Brampton for this honor. The Adirie Project is a Black-led organization rooted in the belief that our communities thrive where education, care, and culture are placed at the center. Our work is guided by a commitment to equity, healing, and the full development of Black youth academically, socially, and emotionally. Spark the Mind session was created from a simple but urgent belief that Black youth deserve spaces where they are not only supported academically, but truly seen, affirmed, and empowered. Education is more than grades. It is confidence, it is identity, and it is possibility. Through this program, we aim to create a space where young people could strengthen their skills, ask questions without fear, and be reminded that their brilliance is not an exception, but it is a standard. Black Education Week reminds us that progress in education has never happened by accident. It has always been built by community, by advocacy, and by Black leadership that refuses to accept systemic barriers as permanent. We are committed to continuing this work, building programs that nurture both academic excellence and personal growth, because when we invest in young minds, we invest in the future of our city. Thank you for recognizing Spark the Mind, and thank you for continuing to champion Black excellence in education.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Well-
much, and wishing everyone a happy Black Education Week. And what you want to tell them?
Happy Pink Shirt Day.
That's right. Happy Pink Shirt Day.
Okay.
She's actually captain of the Claus Academy. They have a special fundraiser that you just did. Tell them a little bit about it.
Oh God.
Yes. Well, it's an amazing fundraiser, helping. It's the coldest day outside, right?
Yeah.
That's right. And you did a wonderful job with that. So thank you for all your support. Okay.
Thank you. And And do it, sit tight, we're gonna do a photo after all the proclamations. Our next proclamation is Pink Shirt Day, and Councillor Keenan brought out his pink suit today for this special occasion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and everyone who's in pink looks amazing, so thanks for doing that. Whereas every year, the last Wednesday in February is recognized as Pink Shirt Day and dedicated to standing up against bullying and promoting kindness and inclusion. Pink Shirt Day began in September of 2007, when a ninth grade boy at a Canadian high school was bullied for wearing a pink shirt on his first day of school. After witnessing the incident, 2 fellow students organized a school-wide act of support by wearing and distributing pink shirts, encouraging others to take a public stand against bullying. What began as a simple act of kindness and support has grown into a global anti-bullying movement with participations in more than 180 countries. The CKNW Kids Fund continues to lead Pink Shirt Day, raising funds to support year-round anti-bullying programs. Supported by its respectful workplace policy and equity, diversity and inclusion strategy, the City of Brampton remains committed to fostering inclusive and welcoming spaces in the workplace and across the city. Bullying remains a significant issue in Canada. 1 in 5 youth experience frequent bullying and have reported feeling lonely, while 1 in 4 youth struggle to make friends. In the workplace, 55% of Canadians report that they, a co-worker, or both have experienced bullying. These realities remind us that we have a role to play in ending bullying in schools, workplaces, online, and throughout our communities. By wearing pink on February 25th, we demonstrate a shared commitment to celebrating diversity, cultivating inclusion, and standing up for all forms of bullying in our city. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim February 25th, 2026 as Pink Shirt Day in the City of Brampton.
Do we have a pink shirt representative here today? I don't see one, but we'll
Take a picture of everyone in pink.
okay. Sure, would you like to speak on behalf of Pink Shirt Day?
Good morning, Mayor and members of council. My name is Desiree Smith, and I'm representing Zonta. Thank you for recognizing, proclaiming Pink Shirt Day 2026 in the city of Brampton. What began as a simple act, students wearing pink to stand up for a classmate who was bullied, has become a powerful national reminder that kindness is not passive. It is active. It is courageous, and it is necessary. Pink Shirt Day asks us to reflect not only on bullying in our schools, but on the tone we set in our workplaces, online spaces, neighborhoods, and public conversations. Words matter. Leadership matters. The example we set matters. Brampton is one of the most diverse cities in Canada. That diversity is one of our greatest strengths. But inclusion does not happen automatically. It requires intention. It requires empathy. It requires us to speak up when someone is targeted, excluded, or diminished. Pink Shirt Day reminds us that silence can enable harm. But even small acts of solidarity can change a culture. As leaders, as parents, as neighbors, and as citizens, we all share responsibility for creating a city where people feel safe, respected, valued, not just tolerated. Today's proclamation is more than symbolic. It is a commitment. A commitment to dignity, to compassion, and to the belief that kindness is strength. May Brampton continues to grow not only in size and opportunity, but in grace. Thank you on behalf of the Zonta Club of Brampton and Caledon. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next proclamation, we've got a joint readout from Councillor Santos and Councillor Brewer.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. International Women's Day is celebrated in the city of Brampton by recognizing the contributions of women and girls at a global level by engaging in advocacy events that create a gender-inclusive municipality. We're also addressing the gaps that still exist worldwide for women and girls in the terms of gender parity.
Zonta Brampton Caledon Club is a group of volunteers committed to making a better world for women and girls. Today we join with Brampton-based agencies that provide service and support to women, together with Mayor Brown, our council staff, and residents, to ask that everyone make a positive difference for women.
The theme for this year's International Women's Day is Give to Gain. Whether it is through resources, training, mentoring, or time, we can all contribute to the advancement of women by taking action to make change. Today, we ask you that you envision a world where women's voices are celebrated, a world where women can have a healthy self-image without judgment or criticism, a world where women and girls can do anything that they set out to achieve without facing barriers simply because they are women.
It only takes a word to shape or distort how a woman feels about herself. Be vocal on how important it is to empower and support one another. Be brave and lead conversations that challenge bias and discrimination. Be an ally and put a stop to toxic behavior targeted at women. The world we face today has a different set of challenges than the generation before us. This does not mean that we succumb to the threats and barriers that lie ahead. It means that we rise and become stronger in our fight against social injustice. It is for these reasons that we celebrate International Women's Day each year, and that we continue to build a better future for all. And Mayor Brown will read the last sentence as our ally.
I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim March 8th, 2026 as International Women's Day in the city of Brampton. And I believe we have a representative from Zonta here to respond.
Mayor Brown, Council, my name is Lori Robinson, and I'm a proud 28-year member of the Zonta Club of Brampton Caledon. International Women's Day is celebrated on March 8th, commemorating the women's fight for equality and liberation, along with the women's rights movement. International Women's Day gives focus to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, violence and abuse against women. Spurred by the universal female suffragette movement, internationally, Women's Day originated from labor movements in Europe and North America during the early 20th century. International Women's Day first took place on March 19th in 1911 in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland, when over 1 million people attended rallies to show their support for women's rights to work, vote, hold public office, and live free of discrimination. Other countries began to observe and celebrate this day in the years that followed. The United Nations recognized in 1975 as International Women's Day year began to celebrate on March 8th, this International Women's Day. Today, International Women's Day is the day of unity, celebration, reflection, advocacy, and action as marked in many countries worldwide, including Canada. Zonta International envisions a world in which women's rights are recognized as human rights, and every woman is able to achieve her full potential. In such a world, women have access to all resources and are represented in decision-making positions on equal basis with men. In such a world, no woman lives in fear. For over 115 years, women have been advocating for a safe place and raising concerns on gender-based violence. Here in Brampton and Peel region, we have an epidemic of femicide. A according to the GTA Chronicle, November 28th, 2025. Peel Police revealed that from January 1st to October 31st, 2025, officers responded to 14,107 family and intimate partner violence calls, and an average of 46 intimate partner violence related calls every single day. Chief Nish told Peel Regional Council that this means that officers attend 2 domestic related incidences every hour, reflecting a 4% increase over 2024. Detective Pamela Parkin, who leads Peel Police's Intimate Partner Violence Unit, told this council, Brampton Council, that 78% of the victims in Brampton and Mississauga are women. She emphasized that intimate partner violence remains the #1 call for service received by Peel Police, with charges most involving assault, threats, assault with weapons, and choking and strangulation. Strangulation, in particular, is a major red flag. Police issued 553 strangulation charges in 2024 alone. And Parkin noted that half of all intimate partner violence homicide victims had survived at least one previous strangulation attempt. Victims of strangulation are 7 times more likely to be killed by their partner. In Peel, according to Embrave website, over 70 women from this area have been victims of femicide since 2008. The murder of Savannah Qual took place in a parking lot on an afternoon, October 21st, on Airport Road, just north of Queen Street. She was the 3rd victim of femicide in Peel in 2025. Sad statistics for a great place to live, Brampton and Peel. There are many International Women's Day events happening in our community in the next week to celebrate our achievements, but we still have a long way to go. Show your support by attending one or more of the events, and show you care as we all work together to build a better world for women and girls. Thank you so much for the proclamation.
Thank you. And Councillor Santos has an announcement that relates to this.
Thank you through Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the Zonta Group for the proclamation today, and all the women's organizations and groups who are really leading the charge and trailblazing to try to address the issue of gender-based violence, intimate partner violence, and women's equity and equality in the region of Peel and across the country. I just wanted to share a couple of things. The first one is that the theme this year is Give to Gain. And so I encourage everybody, my council colleagues here, but also everyone who is watching and in the audience today, to consider making a donation or volunteering for a women's organization in the region of Peel, to include Zonta Club in that as well, because as allies, as people, we each have an individual responsibility to address gender-based violence, intimate partner violence, and women's equality and equity in the city of Brampton and across the region. So please consider supporting a local women's organization. The second thing is that Zonta, you're so modest, is having their annual breakfast on Friday, March the 6th. I will be there, and the theme for their breakfast on March 6th is about online harassment and online digital hate towards women. And Councillor Brar and I are certainly victims of that quite regularly, unfortunately. And so it's an important conversation, which in fact the United Nations is also highlighting as well as another form of abuse targeted specifically towards women. The final thing I wanted to share is that the city of Brampton is also hosting an incredible event the following day on Saturday, March the 7th, our annual event, which is going to feature an incredible panel of women, to include the moderator, the one, the only Bramptonian city news reporter, Christina Howrun, as well as rock star, legit rock star, Canada Arts Walk of Fame recipient and Brampton Arts Walk of Fame recipient Lee Aaron, who is going to be on the panel, but also have a concert immediately after as well. And there will be a showcase of entrepreneurs, women's organizations on March the 7th. So please, please attend that. And then finally, just a quick message to the allies around the table where it's really important. You said something in the pink, during the proclamation for Pink Day, silence can enable harm. And so to all the allies that we have, when you see something, please be an ally and speak up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. Our next proclamation is National Poison Prevention Week, which is March 15th, and Councillor Vicente has the honor to read that proclamation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It reads like a PSA. Whereas National Poison Prevention Week is an annual campaign that raises awareness and provides education about preventing unintentional poisoning, each year 4,000 Canadians lose their lives to unintentional poisoning. Poisonings are a leading cause of injury and death, with millions of people, particularly children, being affected by accidental exposure to harmful substances each year. National Poison Prevention Week serves as an important opportunity to raise awareness about the risks of poisoning, educate the public on prevention measures, and encourage actions that help keep our communities safe. The National Poison Center, local health departments, emergency responders, medical professionals, and countless others work together to promote education on how to prevent poisonings, offer guidance in times of need, and provide resources to families, caregivers, and communities. We urge every household to have the Poison Control Hotline number 1-844-764-7669 readily available, and to learn how to respond effectively in the event of a poisoning emergency. Therefore, on behalf of Mayor Patrick Brown and the City of Brampton, we do hereby proclaim March 15th to 21st, 2026 as the National Poison Prevention Week in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Vicente. I don't believe we have a representative here today for Poison Prevention Week, but we'll make sure we share that proclamation with the requesting organization. Our last proclamation is for Transit Operator and Worker Appreciation Day, and a great advocate for our incredible transit operators is our Deputy Mayor Harkirat Singh, who wishes to read out the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Whereas on March 18th, transit authorities across the world are celebrating Transit Operator and Worker Appreciation Day. Whereas in 2009, riders from Seattle created Transit Driver Appreciation Day to show appreciation for their hard-working and dedicated transit drivers. The initiative has since gained popularity, and many transit authorities celebrate this event on March 18th, which is said to be the day transit service debuted in Paris in 1662. Whereas our transit team works diligently every day to keep the city moving. It takes a great team to get our services on the road, from cleaning and maintaining our buses to planning and scheduling our services, connecting riders to their final destinations, communicating and engaging with them, providing assistance in person, on the phone, at our terminals and facilities, and so much more. There is a lot that happens every day behind the scenes and on the front lines. Whereas in recognition of this, the City of Brampton celebrates Transit Operator and Worker Appreciation Day to revel in the wonderful role our transit workers play within our organization and community. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim March 18th, 2026 as Transit Operator and Worker Appreciation Day in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Singh. I don't see Andrew Salaby or from ATO. Great, come on down. And QP as part of the QP representative as part of the transit. The floor is yours as we
Good morning,
celebrate
everyone.
transit operators in our city. And
Hi.
worker.
First of all, thank you for this appreciation. We represent the ATU 1573 transit family between maintenance operators, call centers. We'd like to say thank you. I'll just give you a little brief history. I came to Brampton back in 1978. I've been here 48 years. And when transit was just starting, there were very few buses. We had dial-a-bus back then. And then I've been with transit now for over 20 years. When I started with transit, we had about a few hundred operators only. Right now, we're at 1,600 operators, 1,600 members, sorry, between maintenance and operators. And the city is growing fast. And we need to make sure that we keep up with transit demands. The gridlock, as you know, in Brampton, is horrible. Anybody who's been on the 410 any time of day is just terrible. And getting around the city would only be better if we improved transit. And the city has been doing a lot, and they are opening a third garage, but we don't want to see any delays, because as the city grows, we need to keep growing with it and stop the gridlock, get people moving around. And one other thing I'd just like to mention, our operators, our maintenance people are out there every day. We don't get a snow day. When it's a blizzard or anything like that, we're out in the cold, in the bad weather, serving our members, our community. We get people there no matter what. We don't get a day off. We're 365 days a year, just like fire and police. But we'd like to protect our members a little bit more. We're open to assault almost every day, whether it's verbal, physical, mental. We need to take a little bit more action to help prevent assault on our members. Just something to bring awareness to. Other than that, the scheduling, the work, it all goes, hand in hand. It goes with improvement. But we do appreciate being recognized, and we thank you for it.
Thank you for being here today. And on behalf of QP.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Vikram Sandra. I'm working as a supervisor with service delivery with Brampton Transit for the last 13 years. Also representing a small group of supervisors with QP year 31 as the unit chair from QP, unit chairs from Transit. As my colleague said, every day we help our riders, thousands of riders every day to go from place one, place two, place A to place B, and all is possible with the support of our GM, Heidi, with the council support and our public. And just thank you again for appreciating our work. Have a good day. Thank you.
And sit tight, because we would be honored to take a photo with you when we finish these announcements and proclamations. And just to say, you certainly have our unequivocal partnership in trying to deal with the issue of assault on our transit operators. Glad to see the federal parliament has amended the criminal code to make it an aggravating offense, but certainly working closer with PRP is something that we should all be looking at to make sure that you're safe and you undertake an important public service, and know that today and all days we're grateful for public transit in the city of Brampton. Thank you. We have two announcements, then we're going to take all the photos, and then we're going to get to our important item in relation to the Stellantis land. So our final two announcements, those were the proclamations. Now we're on the announcements. Announcement 6.2 is for the 2025 City of Brampton United Way Employee Campaign check presentation. The council sponsor to this is Councillor Power. Did you want to introduce the? Okay, no, you're here. Okay.
Hi. My name is Melissa Marchand, and on behalf of the 2025 United Way Committee, we want to express our utmost thanks to all city staff for their generous support of last year's 2025 United Way campaign. I would like to say a special thank you to last year's dedicated team, Mike Miele, Anna Erez, Karen Preet-Ryer, Cassandra Bellissimo, Rimple Chahal, Janine Stevenson, Connie Benedict, Mike Chant, and my fellow co-chair, Ramzan Youssef. We could not have the success we did without the backing of CAO Marlon Calladine, council sponsor Rod Power, and our CLT sponsors Bill Boys and Steve Ganesh, whom we thank for their commitment and support to ensure that we had everything we needed to promote and support our efforts. We also want to take this opportunity to thank Mayor Brown and councillors and our corporate leadership team for their spirit and leadership at our various events.
Good morning, Mayor and council members. My name is Ramzan Youssef, and it is an honor to stand before you today as last year's United Way campaign co-chair. The events we hosted throughout this campaign have been more than just fun and engaging. They provided us with meaningful opportunities to connect with one another and build new memories. From Mayor Brown and Councillor Power's enthusiastic promotional videos for our duck race, to our entire leadership team coming together to serve our staff at barbecues. These moments have truly shown the power of collective effort, all while supporting our community. Thanks to the incredible support of everyone involved, I'm proud to announce that last year we raised over $68,500 for United Way. This is a testament to the strength of our community spirit and the positive impact we can make when we work together. An appreciation video is also available on our Brampton website, which highlights the whole year and our events. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Just to wrap up, on behalf of our City of Brampton United Way team, we'd like to say a special thanks to the United Way of Greater Toronto team and express our heartfelt gratitude and a special thank you to Krista Dosick for her incredible support during our 2025 campaign. Thank you, Krista. You've been great. Now, on behalf of everyone involved, I'm proud to present this check as a symbol of our collective commitment to those in need. Thank you.
Can I have the check here?
I know Councillor Power wants to say a word, and then when we do all the photos, we'll do a photo with the check as well. Yeah. Councillor Power?
Thank you through the mayor. I'd like to also thank everybody that was involved. I mean, from the duck race, the videos that we've done, but also to Sarah Baines in my office, who personally went out of her way to make sure that there was enough food for the barbecue and drove it to there. So thank you very much, Sarah. I don't know if she's listening, but she's there.
Huge thank you to Sarah. Thank you so much, Sarah. Gratitude. Yeah.
After being involved in this for 3 years, Councillor Power, any advice on how you can be a duck that wins this race?
I always win the race. I'm sitting on the big duck.
Okay, thank you so much for this incredible team. We'll take a group photo together shortly.
Amazing. Nicole McVan from United Way just has a few words to share, if that's okay.
Be honored.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today. I grew up in a small town with some very colorful characters, and my Uncle Walt used to tell me, put your money where your mouth is, kid. And that was before I learned how to play euchre. He'd bring me up to the table, we'd play euchre, and I'd have to put my pennies on the table. And that phrase, put your money where your mouth is, kid, is something that's rattled through my head for many, many years. And one of the great pleasures I have working at United Way is getting a chance to thank folks who put their money where their mouth is. And that's what you do here in Brampton. I want to thank all of the staff, all of the civil servants, the councillors, the mayor, everybody involved in what you do 365 days a year for this city and these people. 70,000 people accessed our services in the past year alone. And so many of the proclamation folks talked about the major issues in the city. But what I want to say to you is thank you, because regardless of the crisis that we see on the news every day, you show up every day to make this place better, whether you're driving the bus, working in an agency, or anywhere else in this beautiful place. So thank you for putting your money where your mouth is. Thank you for being ducking awesome. Thank you for your long, long partnership with United Way. We cannot be more grateful for this. Cheers.
Thank you so much. And our last announcement of the day is from Councillor Brar, and it relates to Ramadan. And of course, we had our city's Ramadan event on Monday, which was fantastic. We unveiled our Ramadan lights, and now we have some students who are here for a message about Ramadan. So please come forward, and we're honored to have you here today. And Councillor Brar, do you want to introduce those who are here today?
Thank you. Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to welcome the Al Amin Elementary School Grade 8 class here today. I'm so proud to have them here. And just want to thank the Vice Principal, Susan Eldon, who had made this possible, making sure that young people have a space. And it's always so powerful to see young people coming up to the podium and talking about what they're so passionate about. So again, welcome, and you can take the stage to the podium.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, Mayor and members of the Council. Thank you sincerely for welcoming us today. We are truly honored to be here representing our school, Al Amin Elementary, and sharing a brief message about Ramadan, a sacred month observed by millions of people around the globe, including many members of the Brampton community.
Ramadan is a ninth month of the Islamic calendar and is a time focused on reflection, self-discipline, and service to others. From dawn until sunset, Muslims fast from food and drink. However, Ramadan isn't just about fasting. It's about building character, strengthening our patience, gratitude, humility, and self-control. It encourages us to slow down, reflect on our actions, and become more mindful of how we treat others.
At its heart, Islam means peace. Peace within ourselves and peace with those around us. Its teachings consistently encourage individuals to be kind, inclusive, respectful, and supportive. During Ramadan, these values are practiced more intentionally. People increase acts of charity, volunteer in their communities, support food banks, and reach out to neighbors and those in need. Experiencing hunger reminds us of those who struggle daily and inspires compassion that turns into action.
However, Ramadan is not meant to be a temporary change. It serves us as a reminder that these manners, such as kindness, generosity, honesty, and patience, are values that we are encouraged to carry throughout the entire year. The goal is lasting character growth that strengthens not only individuals, but the entire community that we live in together. When these values continue beyond Ramadan, they help build a society rooted in understanding, compassion, and mutual respect.
This is why gestures of recognition and inclusion mean so much to our school, Al Amin, and the members of the Muslim community. That being said, we would like to sincerely thank the City of Brampton for proudly displaying the Ramadan Mubarak sign that's outside. Seeing that message publicly being recognized brings a strong sense of belonging to many families and reflects the unity, respect, and diversity that make this city a welcoming community. Thank you again for your time and for supporting youth voices, cultural understanding, and community connection. Ramadan Mubarak, and thank you.
Incredible. Okay, so that covers all our announcements and proclamations. We're going to do a photo with each group that is present here today, and then we'll get to our discussion items. And kids first, because you have to go back to school. Okay, if everyone can take their seats so we can proceed with the council agenda. We altered the agenda earlier to move up item 15.1 to after announcements and proclamations, and this is a motion that I put forward along with Councillor Tour, who's the chair of our Economic Development Committee, and I think it's important that we hear from Unifor. But the basis for this motion is what Stellantis did in reneging on their obligations to our city. It really ignores history. It's offensive to Brampton. It is an insult to the hardworking, lifelong dedicated workers at the plant, at part of the Unifor family. And we want to use every tool available to make sure that, that those jobs return, that obligations are honored. And there's been much media attention of Trump's attack on Canada's economy, particularly the auto sector, but the fact Stellantis would be bullied into leaving is egregious, knowing the history, knowing that the city of Brampton in the 1980s made land available, knowing that Premier McGuinty and Prime Minister Harper had a multi-billion-dollar subsidy of their precursor of a company, that more recently Premier Ford and Prime Minister Trudeau had additional incentives, production incentives for jobs and production in Brampton, and taxpayers are being taken advantage of. The basis of those subsidies was jobs in Brampton. And I keep on hearing spin and PR and excuses from Stellantis that there's something coming. You know, they're trying to play a PR game to divert us from the fact that we don't have a product at this plant that was promised to us, that is owed to us based on the subsidies that were given. And so we've been looking at every tool available, and one tool available that I've spoken to the Premier about, that he is enthusiastically in support of as well, is to pass a motion preventing any other use on this land other than the auto sector. So if Stellantis thinks that they can go and build condos there, they can fly a kite. This is for auto jobs. And so I want you to know that we stand in solidarity with you, and every tool in the city we're going to use to work as a team to make sure those jobs come back to our city based on the history of agreements we have and investment we have in this company, and more importantly, your decades of sweat and toil into that company that made it the profits that it has because of your hard work. And so I know Councillor Tour wants to say a word, but really we want to hear from you. And I know this is something that Unifor has suggested would be helpful. We want to hear from you about why it's important to work together. But maybe before, Vito, we'll have you come up if Councillor Tour could share why as Chair of Economic Development that he also felt this was important.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Just following up on what you said, and the last time we had Unifor members here, and you guys spoke from the heart, not just on what this means in terms of dollars and the economic value. We can go on and on about that, but the impact this is having on Brampton families, and that has hit home really hard. Beyond that, we made a trip to Ottawa. All of us as colleagues spoke with Minister Jolie. This was the #1 issue that they are working on as well, and rightly so. The auto sector is the most coveted sector any country would be lucky to have. That's the same reason why when the tariff talk started, that was the first sector to get attacked. These are jobs we need to protect here. In talking about the history of the land that Mayor Brown mentioned, 2 years ago we severed off a piece of the property of the Stellantis plant. Because that money from the sales was going to go towards the retooling of the plant. And that was the reasoning that we had, and we made that choice. And we're still lucky that we have a corporate leader like Dream that bought that property, are actively on site building that property. Even though they're anxious about auto jobs right now, they're pouring hundreds of $1 millions onto that site because they want to keep they want to build around the auto jobs that are there. We've heard loud and clear, from Vito, from you, all the members of Unifor, when we talk about, reskilling, we talk about everything else, all of that is like the last backup plan that should always be. But the number one priority we still have here at council that we're committed to, and we're showing that commitment through this motion, is to keep the auto jobs. We want these jobs to stay here the way they are. We want cars to be manufactured here in our city. And it's not just the Stellantis plant, it's the entire auto sector here in our city, here in Ontario, that needs to be protected right now. I also think, Mayor Brown, it's appropriate, and speaking with some of my colleagues, I believe that maybe all of council should second this motion. I think that sends a very strong message as well. We all stand united on this. You've had unanimous support around this, but I think it would be a good message if all of council got a chance to second this motion. But we want Unifor members and all the families that are affected by this Brampton plan, if they're watching this and if they see this motion, we want them to know that we have this back. This fight is not over. We got to keep going at this with every single tool that we have in our tool belt. That's what we promised the last time you came here, and this is one of the tools that we can do, is freeze the zoning of that land. That is a very aggressive move from the part of the city, that we will not allow anybody to come in here and do anything about this property other than manufacture cars, other than have auto jobs in our city. So thank you once again for advocating and for sticking here with us.
Thank you. I have Councillor Santos on the board as well.
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor and Unifor 1285 and all of Unifor. It was just last week that I attended your members meeting of probably looked like 400 members who were there, including the president, national president, Lana Payne. And the message was very clear when I was at that, at your meeting. If you're gonna sell here, you have to build here. And I think what is clear from this council, and I'm more than happy to second the motion proudly with all of you. I have had families and friends work at that plant for decades. I've had friends like Jim McDowell and Hopeton who have supported us at the city for many years, time after time. And it's now time for us to fight with you. And this fight is on, and you could count on the city of Brampton to stand in solidarity with all of you in this fight.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Power.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, and as you can tell, we're all with you guys, but I would probably suggest that maybe we take this motion and we send a letter to both for provincial and federal governments, signaling that we've done this in the city of Brampton. Okay. Friendly amendment, sorry.
Certainly we should share this with Melanie Joly, the Prime Minister. I do know that the Premier told me this morning he's going to amplify this motion that we're passing, so they're well aware already. But we could add that final line that this be shared with the provincial and federal governments. Vito, we'd love to hear from you and your team.
Hello. Just testing it. Okay. Thank you very much. You gave a lot of great points, a lot of the stuff that we've been saying. And I'm Vito Beato, president of Local 1285. And you can see our delegation here, local representatives, elected representatives from the plant, and members from our local as well. When you talk about the history, yeah, it's important and it's long. This is what our members have, is history. This is what we have here as local leaders, plant leaders, members, is history. And when we talk about representing our members and the history that that plant has given us, it's generational. It's not just me, it's my uncle that was there. It's not just artists or Joe or Jason or Charlene, it's their family members that were there, their kids or whatnot. There's stories and stories and stories from each member in that plant, 3,000 strong and thousands more in the parts supplier base and the whole community, as we know. So when we talk about that history, it's not just us here, representing our members and doing our thing and putting pressure on. This is personal for us. That's our livelihood. And I get emotional, we get emotional because that's what it is. We grew up together. This delegation here, our 3,000 members grew up together. We started there, started families together, bought houses together, and it's so important how that plant has the history, and we need to maintain that. So I really appreciate you mentioning that. And then, you know, when you talk about Stellantis and the egregious moves and the violation not only to the provincial and federal government, but our collective agreement, appeasing south of the border, the Trump administration, they got to step up. It is time for them to step up, to protect Canadian workers, to protect the Brampton Assembly Plant, and live up to what they signed with us and our membership and our union. That needs to happen. So when you hear all the things that they're saying, and they've told us things as well, that I would say we had a meeting with the president of Stellantis Canada, and it was a good meeting, but you know, they're words. To your point, Mayor, they're words, and there's no results yet, and there's no meat and potatoes. So when you talk about this motion, and when you talk about zoning the land, you know, it shouldn't be a problem for them. It shouldn't be an issue for them, because if they're looking, or anyone's looking to sell it and make it on Amazon or this and that, we're not going to stand for it. I know this council's not going to stand for it. No one's going to stand for it. But once this motion gets passed, and I have full confidence, because we have a history here, and it's not because just of today, Mayor, Tour, Santos, the whole council, Vicente, you name it, to empower all of us. We have a history, and from day one, we've all worked together to make sure the auto industry and, of course, our Brampton Assembly Plant stays strong. So it shouldn't matter to Stellantis if the words that they're saying are true, that they got big plans for Brampton, when they see this motion, when they see that this is passed and it's hammered down all the way through all levels of government. It shouldn't matter to them. So we'll see. But if their words are true, then we'll be okay. So I want to end with this. I want to end with the appreciation and the continued solidarity that you, Mayor, and this council has given to us, because this is what solidarity looks like. Whether you're a worker, whether you're an elected representative at our local or the plant or in this city, this is what people coming together is all about, to make sure that we represent livelihoods, we represent good paying jobs, and that's important for our Brampton Assembly Plant, important for the community, our members, and this city, because we know we got to win this fight, and with your support like you've done from day one, we are not going to lose, and we'll get back to building cars in Brampton. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We have a request from Councillor Keenan for a standing recorded vote to the clerk to conduct.
Mayor Brown, everybody's a step ahead of me. All those in favor, please rise. And I see everybody present has risen. Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Fortini, Councillor Power, Councillor Tour, Deputy Mayor Singh, Mayor Brown, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Santos, Councillor Brar, and Councillor Vicente. And online we have Councillor Paleshi. Councillor Paleshi, how do you vote?
In favor.
And that is a unanimous vote.
Well, thank you, Vito and Unifor, and let that message be very crystal clear to Stellantis. We're serious in Brampton.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This takes us to our next item. So we'll go back to the previous agenda. Government relations was on consent. To the clerk, this takes us all the way to 10.61. Oh, Councillor Plushy, request to begin procurement for public works repairs west side wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think there were some questions that I'd asked last meeting. Happy to turn it over to Peter if he has a response.
Through the chair to Councillor Paleshi, as requested at last week's meeting, we have provided that supplementary information under the closed session report, item 19.5.
Okay. Was that held then when we went through the agenda, Mr. Mayor?
It wasn't, but I think we can take it as your intention, Councillor Paleshi. I'm looking to the clerk that was intention to hold that.
It was. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And then additionally, in this report, it stated that the continuation of the procurement would be, I believe it's set at a staff level, and I just want to make sure that, and if this needs to be a separate motion, that any any ongoing procurements that look into additional years, that those come back to council for ratification.
Okay, so I see Councilor Power just sort of say, no? Okay, would this motion be in, I don't see why it can't be a public motion, just saying that any extensions come to council, to legal. Is that fine?
That is acceptable, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Would that, do we still need to go into closed if we can do this motion in public, Councilor Paleshi?
I think there was some some additional information that I wanted to hear about in closed as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. So we have a motion moved by Councilor Paleshi, seconded by Councilor Brar for the public portion. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to the clerk. Oh, minutes of committee of council. Councilor Paleshi, you held this as well.
Yeah, and it was just to the fact that to pass that last motion, and that last motion, I think it goes to all procurements across the city. Any, and Mr. Mayor, you've spoken about this before. If you want to actually take the lead and speak to this again as well.
So, yeah, I think what Councilor Paleshi was last week at committee of council, in our minutes, he asked, I think he deferred it to this week, was that extensions of contracts come to council. So if there's a 4-year award and there's an option to renew for 2, that comes to council. It doesn't happen automatically. And so I'm not sure the language necessary to achieve that, but I think it's a common sentiment in council. If there's an extension being awarded, we want to be part of that approval process, to make sure that we're always having competition. I know last council we had an incident with insurance where we had companies coming to us saying they didn't have a chance to compete. And as long as there's more competition, I think it's always good for residents, and to make sure that we don't limit the ability for competition. Is that the, I think Councilor Paleshi, that's what you're trying to articulate?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So is that?
Through Mayor Brown, is the third red bullet point that any future extensions be brought forward to council by report?
Yeah.
Does that, it speaks to this purchasing, but it doesn't speak across the board to all. So if you want it across the board to all, then I think we need to add a little bit to number 3.
Okay, so I think Councilor Tour wants to speak to it, and maybe the CEO can offer some guidance here.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mayor Brown. That was one clarification I was going to ask is, are we just talking about this particular procurement?
No, in
but I
general.
think if you're talking about in general, I don't know either way what is better or not, whether we get, whether staff come back to council for approvals or not. I'd like to get some clarification from staff on what this change would mean in terms of procurement before we make a decision on all procurement contracts that have extension clauses in them. Like, what are the legal implications, and like, what are the procurement implications
So
of that?
maybe the solution then, in Councilor Paleshi, why don't we say, I think Councilor Tour is right to say we should have a report on this to understand the ramifications, but in that period that we're receiving the report, can we include a clause saying no extensions during this period so council can have clarity on this? So if it takes a month to write a report or 2 months to write a report, we don't want a bunch of contracts being extended automatically without competition.
I'd agree to that for sure.
Can can a staff member sort of speak to this? Yeah,
I think
through the chair to Councillor Tour, the city's purchasing quarterly reports that we provide have an appendix 3 of that quarterly report provides a list of renewals, contract extensions upcoming in advance. So that information is already provided in that report. that we provide to council.
And that's what Councillor Pleshy was speaking to last week. So you're saying the contract extension is not awarded until that quarterly report is adopted?
The quarterly report highlights, Appendix 3 of the quarterly report highlights upcoming renewals and extensions for council's review and approval. So to the extent that council has the time to look at it and want to weigh in on whether renewals should take place or not, that would be the form we currently utilize to give you that information. If there is no feedback, we then work with staff, subject to good pricing, subject to proper performance then, and at the department's request, would then extend or consider a renewal at that point.
Okay, I think the CEO wants to speak to it as well.
Through the mayor, I would go with your first comment. We will defer this report back to council to explain what the director just said. And until that report comes forward, we'll hold all renewals.
Okay, I think I'd be happy with that. Okay, I think that's fair. Do we need language to that effect, to the clerk? Because this number 3 is on 10.61, when I think Councillor Pleshy's questions last week are not about 10.61. It was about the quarterly purchasing report, I believe. So it was in the committee minutes. So I think it needs to be part of the committee minutes, added item 3 there.
Or if I could suggest, that point number 3, if we could scratch that and say that pause any current contract extensions till we get a report back from staff to further expand on this, and then we can make a decision.
That would be under the committee minutes, not under 10.61. Yeah, Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And that's kind of why I held this one too, because in this report, it also states that. So yes, in the quarterly report, which I always consider to be more of an FYI than providing direction, but in this report also, it is stated that that the additions to the contract would be subject to city approval instead of council approval. So I think overarching, I want to hear some more information from Peter on this particular report, but I'm happy with the words that our CAO has provided in terms of having a future report talk about future contract extensions.
Great. Can you just put that motion up on the screen under Committee of Council? I only see the Public Works one. There, perfect. Okay. And this would be moved by Councillor Pleshy, second by Councillor Toor, with the new number 3. All those in favor? See some hands. Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to our next item. On the... Yeah, I just did the vote on that, yeah. That was moved by Councillor Pleshy, second by Councillor Toor, adopted unanimously. Okay, our next item that was held. Oh, I have a discussion item, and just I've consulted with council. This would be the new item. Oh, sorry, 16.2 first. Okay. For 16.2, I just wanted to make sure that everyone on council was aware of the redevelopment of Ken Willen Square, the component of the plan that moves the cenotaph. I did speak to Hank Verschen last night at the Legion. He said they have written a letter in support of the plan. And so that was my pause for, because I wanted to make sure that they had their full support. I think moving a cenotaph is a sensitive decision, but they said that Andrea and others who have engaged them have put forward a plan that they're very much excited and supportive. And so that gives, as soon as Hank said that, concerns I had were alleviated. But do any other members of council have questions in regards to this redevelopment, particularly as it relates to the cenotaph? But I do think that is a significant decision we're making. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Councillor Vasante, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And at the recent Heritage Board meeting, the redesign of Ken Whelan Square did come forward. And there was some conversation amongst the members there with regard to the placement of the monument itself, particularly as it may or may not face the lights from the sun. I know that there were some comments from staff that there might be opportunity to improve the amount of tree cover in and around the monument, but still there was concern around the direction of the monument with its, in its current orientation facing northeast. It would never see the light of the sun. And so just one thing that did come forward in that discussion, and staff did say that they would take it back to review that. Thank you.
Councillor Tour.
Thank you through you, Mayor Brown. Just a question for staff maybe on this. Seeing that the Legion is supportive of this, but I'm just a little bit unsure on who is the governing authority on something like the cenotaph, like a monument for veterans. Like, would that be like Veteran Affairs? Is that somebody else that looks at it in general? Just so that we're not getting in a place where we make a decision on this, all of this happens, tomorrow somebody comes back and says, who did you guys ask?
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Tour. Council might recall, I believe it was at last week's committee meeting, there was a report outlining a framework for the placement of statues and monuments throughout the city. In some consultation with community services, it's my understanding that the location, the new location, proposed new location for the cenotaph fits within the general framework of that report, but certainly, you know, going forward as we have with council, we'll continue to consult with council as a whole or any ward pairings of council on the redevelopment of the square to ensure that that framework aligns. But I'll also defer to Commissioner Boyce if you'd like to chime in on that.
And just quickly on that before that, like I understand that's our internal city policy on our public art and public monuments, where they go. Like if I just gave an example, if this was in Ottawa and you had to move something in Ottawa, would the federal government say something about that? Or could the city of Ottawa make that decision based on community consultation?
Through the mayor in partnership with Steve's team and Andrea as well, we can certainly work to talk to Veterans Affairs or any other potential stakeholders that might be able to have a say in or any concerns or information about a move of a cenotaph.
Yeah, like if we can just check all those boxes, because I genuinely don't know who has any authority to any degree over, I would say this is a national monument, not just a City of Brampton monument. It is for Brampton veterans, but these kind of, the nature of this monument is more at that scale that I do believe that if we can do a little bit more consultation on that, whether that is speaking to Veteran Affairs, just to check all the boxes, and if nobody raises a flag about this and nobody has an objection to this, then it's a great plan to move forward with.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Tour, we'll certainly take that as direction moving forward.
Thank you.
I don't see any other speakers, so we can move to 16.3. And this is a motion I added. Just notice that we have our committee at council March 4th, but then council to ratify it is not till March 25th. And so I'm proposing to change the date from March 25th to March 11th. I think that was done in error. We normally have that period to coincide with March break, and March break for the different school boards are the last 2 weeks of March, not the March 11th week. So it would be, schools are still in session Wednesday, March 11th, and it allows us to ratify the March 4th agenda. And I do know on March 4th, and this was alerted to me from Councillor Santos, so thank you for making aware of this. There is a motion coming forward for Knight's Table that would need to be ratified to meet their building timelines. And so I think that's just to switch the March 25th council to March 11th. Are there any concerns about that? No? Okay. Okay, so moved by myself, second by Councillor Santos. All those in favor? Motion carries. Are there any public questions? Seeing none, are there any online?
Mayor Brown, none online.
This takes us to bylaws. I have a motion moved by Councillor Basante, seconded by Councillor Tour, to approve the bylaws 2026 to 2026 inclusive. All those in favor? Motion carries. We have one item in closed session that Councillor Paleshi held. And so, 19.5. And so how long would you like for us to go into closed session? 10 minutes. So it is 10:59. At 11:10, 11:10 we'll return in closed session. To members of the public watching today, Okay, council, we are back in public session. In the continuing interest of transparency and open government, we will report in public session any outcomes from today's closed session business. The clerk will report on the items.
Through Mayor Brown, in closed session, 19.5 was considered, no direction was given. All other closed items were approved on consent, and all directions within are deemed given. With respect to item 19.4, the following motion arises to be considered in open session. That the purchasing agent be authorized to begin procurement in accordance with the purchasing bylaw for a new bus and shelter advertising contract.
Okay, this is moved by Councillor Tour, second by Councillor Medeiros. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our confirming bylaw. I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Singh, second by Councillor Santos, to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. And this takes us to our next meeting, which will be Wednesday, March 11th at 9:30 a.m. We are adjourned.